Exonation, Howard Bloom is our special guest to this hour, and Howard is the author of The Genius of the Beast, a radical revision of capitalism. And Howard, what role does the genius of the beast play in this?
Well, about 2 months ago, there was a big story in a daily newspaper from Dubai, and Google Alerts sent it to me, so I read 75% of the way through the story and wondered why it had been sent to me by Google Alerts. And I got to a point where the author of the story said, first of all, Dubai has done something brave and courageous, and it will pay off in the end, and that is its incredible development of real estate. And its incredible set of symbols for Islamic aspirations and the aspirations of all the world's people by building things like the world's tallest buildings. The guy behind this article said, is Mohammed al-Rashid bin Maktoum, the sheikh who runs Dubai. He is the visionary genius behind all of this. And the article goes on to say there's a book called The Genius of the Beast by a man named Howard Bloom, and that is the book that best expresses Dubai's future. And
wow.
I have given a copy of this book to Sheikh Maktoum, to the sheikh who runs the country. And then it sums up in 4 paragraphs what the book says and why that is relevant to Dubai. Now, here's the deal. You get down to the end of the story, and you wonder who in the world is writing this about my book.
Mm-hmm.
But it tells you that the person writing this article is the head of Dubai's real estate operation, a $33 billion business, the company that has operations in 15 countries and built the world's tallest building. Well, that sounds pretty impressive. Then you do a little bit more research on who he is, and it turns out that he is the former Minister of Development for Dubai, and that he is the chief counselor to Sheikh Maktoum, to the sheikh who runs Dubai. So you suddenly realize, well, if my book is being slid across the sheikh's desk coming from his chief advisor, that means this is not just a book that's a present. That means this book is to be read for policy reasons. You also discover, further reading on, that the sheikh is also the prime minister of the United Arab Emirates, and that everything you read in that newspaper was given as a speech in front of the World Arab Business and Economic Forum. In other words, you've just been reading a speech that's been delivered to all of the leaders of the business community in the Arab world. Well, now, why in the world did he do this, and why in the world is the genius of the beast, of all things, relevant to the Egyptian revolution? Because the genius of the beast says the Western system has done things no other system in the world has ever done, that every system that calls on our idealism says it's going to do the same thing. Every one of them says it's going to raise the poor and the oppressed. But only the Western system has ever done it. The poorest paid worker in the West in 1850 made $4,200 a year, a pitiful amount, in modern dollars. Mm-hmm. The poorest paid worker in the Western world 150 years later, today, makes what 7 workers made in 1850, what an entire tenement full of workers made in 1850. That's a remarkable achievement. That is raising the poor and the oppressed.
Well, that's because this book was written by an amazing man, my good friend Howard Bloom. Howard, we've got to say so long for now, but thanks very much for joining us. Always appreciate your input, and I look forward to the next time you and I meet here in the X Zone.
Rob, it is a pleasure.
Take care, my good friend. X Zone Nation, Howard Bloom, www.howardbloom.net. We'll be back on the other side of this news break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We'll be back at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour. Don't go away.